This is Tom Fox. I'd like to welcome you to the newest addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
In compliance, the value of anonymous reporting is undeniable. But with Ethico, anonymity doesn't mean a loss of connection. Our blinded, two-way communication fosters an environment of trust and confidentiality, encouraging open and honest dialogue. It's not just about receiving reports. It's about understanding the story behind each one, creating a culture of integrity and respect. Transform your approach to anonymous reporting with Ethico. Begin your journey at ethico.com/CPN, where you can book a demo, access an exclusive white paper by Tom Fox titled The ROI of Compliance, and utilize our free ROI calculator.
Today we take up the topic of how your investigation informs your remediation. There's nothing like an internal whistleblower report about an FCPA violation, the finding of an issue internally, or even worse, a subpoena from the Department of Justice to trigger the Board of Directors and senior management's attention to the corporate compliance function and your compliance program. Such an event can often trigger the gnashing of teeth and expressions of outrage, followed by proclamations, "We are an ethical company." The problem with that is, obviously, if something's happened, it doesn't matter how an ethical company you have had a compliance failure. So in addition to a robust investigation, a company must engage in the remediation of the offending conduct. The 2023 ECCP mandated the additional significance of this by providing the process must be considered both at the time of the offense and at the time of the charging decision and resolution. When you consider the strictures around continuous monitoring and continuous improvement in a compliance program, it's clear why this analysis is so important. Obviously, a key test of any compliance program is when a deficiency is found and a violation occurs, what did you do about it at that time? So how did a violation come forward? When did it come forward? Are going to be key points for the Department of Justice. Another key component will be the communications between those who are doing the investigation and those leading in remediation. Unfortunately, many internal counsel, or at least investigative counsel, want to keep all the information to themselves. The problem is that doesn't lend itself to a robust remedial effort, because if you've had a compliance violation, obviously you've stress tested it and found your entire compliance program, or at least that portion, noted. There must be a solid line of communication about who are doing the investigation and those leading the remediation. If you don't, it could be a recipe for disaster, and the DOJ will not give you credit, or at least significantly reduce the credit, and you may lose the types of benefits articulated in the corporate enforcement policy. Finally, never forget, from the DOJ perspective, the key is to use the information to both fix the problem so that it does not occur again, but also to improve your compliance program overall and to improve it on an ongoing basis as well. As you know, this month's sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, including this podcast, is Ethico. Have you ever wondered about the ROI of your compliance program, or had concerns with presenting budget proposals to your CFO? Well, I partnered with Ethico to write a white paper on the ROI of compliance and how you can think through compliance as an investment strategy. Ethico has put together a ROI calculator for you. Check them out on the website. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The compliance tip of the day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network.